Now we're going to look at an existing presentation and see how we can make it a little bit better. I've opened up an existing one here. Now, this is one of the first things you want to know is that you can create presentations in two ways. You can either go by the slide here, like we have here, or if you open up the outline tab, you can enter a new slide at the end of this slide. See where my cursor is after the word Iowa? If I press enter, it's going to go down. There right before the title on the next slide and press enter, I'm inserting a new slide. So I can say here whatever I want. I can enter anything. And as you see, as I type, if you look over here, it's actually typing the information into the slide. So this is what it looks like in outline view. You can make edits to it. You can enter, like if I go to this slide and say I've got spring, summer, fall. Well, what are we missing? Spring, summer, fall. How about winter? So I can enter a winter series here if I wanted to. So I've got plenty of room. I can do that in the outline view. I prefer the slide view, and you can do it however you want. So there's another way to enter new slides. If you know where you want a new slide, be on an existing slide. Say I want to enter a slide after slide 5. If I hold down the Shift key and press enter, it adds a new slide. You don't have to go up to the new slide and enter, up here, unless you want the format different. If you want two items, if you want to enter two items in there. Now, to reorder the slide, all I would have to do, if you want to use the slide pane over here, all I would have to do is click on the slide I want, and you click and drag it up where you want it. See where the solid line is? And that's all you have to do. I know I showed you in the slide sorter view the same way, but if you don't want to open up the slide sorter view, you don't have to. I'm going to click this new slide and move it down. So you can see how easy it is. Once you just start putting the information in, and later on you can decide what order you want them in. Formatting text. If I want to format the text here, once again, I'm going to highlight, if I'm in this text box, in this object, and I click on the outside border, see how it becomes solid? Now all of my text is going to be changed, and if I want to change it to something like this Algerian, I do not recommend a font like this. It's very difficult to read, and you, of course, do not want to use all caps. It's just not very presentable, and it's offensive to some people. So that you can change the fonts. It's no different than what you would do on Word. If you want to make this text box here a little history, you want to make the lettering red. Once again, I've selected the whole box, so now when I click red, it's going to click the whole thing. I strongly recommend at least 18 point on a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to highlight this, and if you want to see here, if I make this 14 point, 12 point, 14 point, it's going to be real difficult to read in the back of the room. So you need to make sure that it is large enough. And one of the other things I want to recommend is that you use limited amount of writing. You don't want someone to be able to read everything that you want to say on the screen. If they can do that, they can read the presentation by themselves. Why do you need to make the presentation? And the more writing you have on a presentation, the more that it is boring, because they're going to spend more time reading than they are listening to you. So that's my little lecture on the wording. If I want to insert Smart Art, if I want to change this text here to Smart Art, there's one way. You go straight up here under the text, convert to Smart Art. You can convert it to whatever kind of Smart Art that you want. This is your Smart Art. The Smart Art is really different. You've got you've got like a different kinds of smart art that you can use depending upon what you've got. If I want to change this to smart art, this text here, you see in the background how it looks. There's different kinds of things here. The details, and then the details are right here. It's a much more presentable way that you can see it. You see the difference. This title is not good as smart art. I don't think so. Personally, I would not change that to smart art. Now, if I do not have text here and I want to insert smart art, you're going to go to the Insert tab and you're going to insert smart art. So keep in mind, I'm going to insert this vertical picture list here. It's just a different way to show your graphics. So there is either insert or convert. Keep in mind which is it that you're trying to do. Now let's go and let's look at some of these layouts. If I say that I want to change the layout of this specific slide, I can go to the Home tab and the Layout, and I can change the layout of this slide and change it to any of these that I want. If I change it here, you can change the layout at any time. This, of course, is not very effective to me. I'm going to undo this. One of the other things you can do is you can change the background styles. If you click on this, on your Design tab, click on your background styles. And the background of this slide can be changed to any of these setups, or you can format your background style. You can create something that you want. If you want to bring a picture in, and then you can select the file, the picture from a file, just like you would in any other program. So you can change this for one slide or for all of your slides. So that's your background styles. Now I'm going to go to a blank, semi-blank slide here. You can insert shapes. If I go to insert, say I want this, the stop sign, all I have to do is just see where the cross is and I drag it and make it as large as I want. Now, once I've got it, I can edit it, I can move it around, I can change it however I want. I can also go to the drawing tools, the format screen, and I can change the color of this. I can make it black if I want to. I can fill it. You can play with it and see. I can also send it to the background to where it could be behind text. So work with those, fill those, play with those however you want to. In order to make sure that your alignment is good on these boxes, the nice easy way is if I click on one and select it, hold your control key down, select the other two. What you have now is you have two more tabs up here. Go to your picture tools and go to your format. Over to the right is an align options. I can align them. Say I want to align them to the right. They all go to the right. If I want to align them to the left, that's not going to do any good because it's just so that they're even. If I want to distribute them horizontally, well, I'm going to move them here. I can distribute them horizontally, and what it does is it's equal distance horizontally between them. You can do other things to them, but if you want to manually take care of this, you can click on View Grid Lines. And what this is 1-inch squares. And the other thing you can do, go back to your line and go to your grid settings. You can change any of your grid settings here that you want. But now I can see where my grid is. If I leave all three clicked and I can drag all three around, say I want this setting at the 2-inch marker. But if I click on just one, or I press Escape, and now I click on just one, I can drag this over and make sure that it is 2 inches down and 1 inch in. And on this one, I want it 2 inches down and 1 inch in from this side. You get the idea. You can see exactly where they are. And if you want to make sure this one is centered, there you go. It's 3 inches on either side, and it's approximately centered. It's not bad. So that's how you can use your grid lines. You can leave your grid lines on, or you can turn them off. All you have to do is go back to Align, view your grid lines. Your grid lines will not show on your print even if you leave them open. So you're fine there. Now what we're going to do is we are going to try to insert headers and footers. I showed you a little bit about inserting the headers and footers, but now that we're in the middle of a document, a presentation, if I want to insert a header and footer, I want to insert the date, and I want to have it fixed at May 5th. Now, what I'm going to do, and I want the slide number, and I'm only going to apply it to this slide. So there's my date, and look at where this page number is showing. In this particular style, this page number is going to show right here in this circle. That's what it's reserved for. Once again, remember to spell check your document before you quit. Okay, and I'm going to let you go on with the rest of your work. I will see you on Wednesday.